If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is JoJo, and I'm a photographer who's been shooting motorsport and cars for about 10 years. I did what no other YouTuber has done with this camera, and I tested it. And well, so this right here is my 1999 Honda Civic. There is nothing special about this car. And the reason why I'm showing you guys this is because it'll give you a good idea of my philosophy on buying camera gear. But we're not going to shoot here. I have an appreciation for older things. Older cars, usually Japanese. And I kind of feel the same way about cameras because I've never ever really been able to afford expensive things in general. Came from humble beginnings, so a lot of times my people did the best they could with what they had. Ooh, it's cold. It's too cold for this. So this right here is the Canon 5D Classic. It dropped in 2005. Is capable of putting out 12 megapixel images and can only shoot 3 frames per second. And if you've been watching YouTube for a long time and you're obsessed with watching videos on camera gear like I am, then you'll know that every video you'll see about the 5D Classic says that if you shoot action, if you shoot sports, if your niche relies on autofocus and movement, then you should look the other way and avoid the 5D Classic. But none of those videos actually try. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is JoJo, and I'm a photographer who's been shooting motorsport and cars for about 10 years. I did what no other YouTuber has done with this camera, and I tested it. And well, so yeah, I shoot a lot of action. So naturally, it wasn't my main camera. This wasn't what I relied on to get my trackside shots. Because honestly, this autofocus, it's not that good. It's got like 16 or so autofocus points, maybe if that. But the only one worth a damn is the main one in the middle. It's the only cross-type autofocus point. It's the only autofocus point that's active on my camera because the rest of them, you just can't rely on them. But what this camera does do is it takes a beautiful image. The 5D Classic has that film look. It makes everything a little more warm, has a specific look in the grain because this is when Canon first was really starting to attempt to make good digital cameras that gave a beautiful image. So, like I said, I didn't use this for my main shooting camera. What I did use it for, though, was my second stills camera. When I had my video rig out, or if I was trackside using my 7D on the telephoto, this was always on either the 24 or my 50mm, and it was my second camera, used for shooting wider angle shots, or even just trying to catch a moment in the pit when I had my 7200 and I needed just a little bit more room to go. So what are the pros and cons of this camera? Well, we'll start off with the pros because that's the most important part, and honestly, I don't think the cons are enough to make you not want to use this camera. With that being said, I would say one of the biggest pros is that it's cheap. I paid $124 for this thing on mpb.com, maybe 130 something with shipping after that, and it has been reliable. Another pro of this is that it's really easy. I mean, this camera doesn't have video. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, and it doesn't have a lot of features to help you take a good image. You do have to rely on the basic skills of understanding your exposure, composition. Yeah, so all that being said, I love this camera to death, but it's not perfect. It's old. It's almost 20 years old. And so it doesn't have video. It doesn't have live view. Everything about it is old. It keeps you to the basics. If you want to primarily shoot motorsport like we do here at Create and Conquer, well, you're better off using something else. So it's slow. You gotta time the FPS. And like I said, if you want to use the autofocus on this thing, you can, but you're only going to be using that one in the middle. It's the only one that's worth it. Just trust me. Everything else, it kind of sucks. And then the last thing about this camera that might turn you away from it is the fact of you can't get Canon batteries anymore. And that was the biggest thing that sucked about this, is I always prefer to use factory batteries. They tend to just work better, but you can't find them brand new anymore for the 5D Classic. And the ones you do find, they're okay. Luckily, if I found a pretty good ones, I'll link them in the description. If you're the type of person you want to use factory batteries, you just got to get over it. So, you know, some of those cons might turn you away, especially if you want to shoot motorsport and automotive work like we do. And if you're here for automotive work, another place where this thing shines is editorial and commercial type work. Photos where you get to have an intimate one-on-one moment with the car, but you don't necessarily have to rush. And if you don't believe me about the editorial thing, I'm gonna cut right now to some footage we did of a photo shoot me and Slim did with our buddy Chris. If you know Chris, you know he's been building this car for a long time. He keeps it real clean. And we want to take a beautiful, have a beautiful photo shoot at a abandoned gas station in town. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. That's the easiest way you guys can take care of us and help us out. Another thing you can do is, if you really want to take it a step further, is head on over to our website, www.createxconquer.com. Watch some of our content, see some of our videos. Also, feel free to check over on our merchandise store, where everything that we have on there is stuff that we drew and that we designed ourselves. And be ready, we do have a couple of extra designs and new lines coming this summer of 2024. I can't wait for you guys to see what else we have planned. If you're a fan of Full Metal Canvas, that's still happening and that's still going on. But we're gonna add some other things to it. Now that I'm a dad, we gotta make the content work for what me and Slim both got going on in our personal life. So thank you guys for coming along with us for the ride. I'm excited for 2024. Have a good one. Yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Oh, shit. Oh, my knee. Peace out. I'm out of here. Ugh.
I don't give a fuck about who next. Till I fuck my whole check up in this bitch. I recluse for the time being. Off these cups that know ain't much else to see. And them hoes seen flocking on the fucking net whole time. Stomping on these niggas next. I got plenty.